That is a fried chicken thigh. This is butter and Frank's hot sauce. This is a potato bun with blue cheese on it. A little celery, because we need a nice crunchy garnish. And that, my friends, is the simplest, most delicious version of a buffalo fried chicken sandwich that you will ever have. Hey everyone, welcome to AZ Cooks Instagram Live. I am Andrew Zimmern. Thank you to our fantastic sponsors, Florida Cagna Rum and the good people at Szechuan Cutlery. We are very, very grateful to Szechuan and to Florida Cagna. They're fantastic sponsors and we are very grateful. Welcome back to another week of recipes, hijinks, and your questions. I am feeling extremely ebullient, warm-hearted, kind, caring, and hopefully in full possession of my faculties today. It's a beautiful, cold, final Thursday in the month of January here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, and we're thrilled that you could join us. So yeah, I mean, that's a fried chicken thigh that we brined in pickle juice and then dunked in butter and hot sauce. And of course, because I love the flavor of fried chicken dunked in hot sauce and butter, along with blue cheese and celery, traditional buffalo style chicken wing accompaniments, it's the simplest way to make a delicious fried chicken sandwich. So let me show you, sort of catch you up about how to do this for yourself. So people buy big jars of pickles, then they throw away the juice. If you're buying a lacto-fermented pickle, one that's just a natural salt brine, save that, you can reuse it. If you are buying a vinegar brined pickle, like these shelf-stable ones that are at the supermarket, by all means, save that pickle juice. Why? The brine can be used as a marinade. It can be used to make a salad dressing. It can be used for all kinds of really cool things. And when I get to the bottom, when I've eaten all the pickles and I have 2 cups of pickle juice sitting in that jar, I throw a bunch of chicken thighs into the brine and let them sit for 24 hours. You can see that the vinegar actually starts to turn the meat of the chicken opaque. And I dunk that chicken, because I brine for 24 hours, then I let it dry for 4 or 5 hours. And that's important because you don't want the fried chicken to shed its batter. And then it goes into, and yes, recipe is on the website at andrewzimmern.com. It goes into buttermilk, in which I've had a beaten egg added to it. I've seasoned these with salt and celery seed. And you can throw that chicken right into 375 degree oil. The other thing that you can do after you've seasoned this with celery seed, dunked it into your buttermilk and egg, and then into your mixed starch. This is cornstarch, flour, and rice flour. I like the mixture. It makes for a really crunchy batter. Is that some people like to double dredge. My friends on the West Coast, Vinny DiTolo and John Shook, reminded me of the double dredge. They do that on their fried chicken sandwiches, and when I saw them do, I asked them what the secret was to their fried chicken sandwich, and they said pickle juice, which I already did on mine, and double dredge. So there's a double dredge, and it just puts a slightly thicker crust on your chicken, which some people love. And if you are doing a fried chicken sandwich, or let's say you're just eating them with knife and fork, and you're doing something buffalo style, or as you'll see in a couple minutes, Nashville hot, I would encourage you to try the double dredge, because that extra bit of crispy batter on the outside soaks up the sauce exponentially. Let me wash my hand. By the way, if you have flour and egg on your hand, do not wash in hot water. Wash in cold water. Hot water activates the gluten. You end up with a sticky mess. It can get in watches, in rings, all over, the hair on your hand. Just cold water, okay? Just gonna flip these around to promote even cooking. Nashville hot chicken, created literally at Prince's in Nashville. Now a global hot fried chicken phenomenon. Many places lay claim to inventing a lot of different foods, and we all say to ourselves, well, did that really happen? Was such and such a dish really created at such and such a restaurant or at such and such a kitchen at such and such a time? Nashville Hot Kitchen was created at Prince's. So I add about 6 ounces of oil, hot frying oil, to a bowl. To that, I am going to add onion powder and garlic powder. I am going to add cayenne, smoked paprika. You can add regular paprika. I just like the smokiness of smoked paprika on my sandwich. And brown sugar that we kept under lock and key here so that it would really dissolve easily and wouldn't turn into a brick. And you just whisk this together and let the sugar dissolve in that hot oil. And you want this to be at least 150 degrees because you don't want to drop the temperature on your sandwich by dunking it in cold oil. It'll hold its temp. It'll be hot for a while. But the idea here with a real hot chicken sandwich just turning these again so I can show you the difference there. Let's grab a bun. And all I want to do is I want to take this chicken thigh and we're just going to rotate this around in there. Some people like a brush on there. I find as long as you're not making it too insanely spicy, you can just roll that chicken around, create that Nashville style hot chicken with the sugar, the cayenne, the smoked paprika, garlic powder, onion powder. And if you want to make it hotter, just add more cayenne pepper. You have to do it to your taste. I don't like to blow the mouth out of the people at my table who are dining with me. And with Nashville hot chicken, I tend to just go with pickles and white bread or pickles and a potato bun, right? Super, super simple. Now this oil and sugar and spices that are in there can be saved, and then you can heat this up later on. But usually, if you use 6-8 ounces, you'll have enough for 4 sandwiches or one whole, enough hot for one whole chicken, because maybe you're frying chicken on the bone. 6-8 ounces of oil, along with the spices, recipe on andrewzimmern.com, is enough for an entire frying chicken. 2 breasts, 2 legs, 2 thighs, 2 wings. Make sense? All right. Last chicken sandwich. This one is one of my favorites. This is hoisin sauce. I make this one, and by the way, you can use sweet wheat paste, which is a sweetened reduced soy product. For those of you who do a lot of Chinese cooking, you know what I'm talking about. It's available in Asian markets. It's available at Mala Market, ironically out of Nashville, but I get a lot of my product there. I'm just going to flip this over. You can see this chicken breast, single dredge, starting to get brown, and you can see it has a very light, crispy skin on it. This is the double dredge. It takes a little while longer. I have a special guest here tonight. Do you want Nashville hot, or do you want the regular hot? Nashville. All right. You want to come get it? This is what you get for waiting for your father to be done with work. I'm a good dad. I feed my child cold props from the set. He just said from the peanut gallery once a month. Yes, that is correct. We feed them once a month. But I don't make him do manual labor here, so please don't call the child labor board. So this chicken breast, I'm going to put right on this sliced cucumber, and I am going to season it with a little bit of Szechuan peppercorn. Usually I use whole cumin and toast and grind it, but we have some leftover ground cumin. And salt. And into the mortar and pestle it goes.
Are those cucumbers pickled?
The cucumbers are not, but you can lightly pickle them in sugar and white vinegar. 1 to 2 sugar to vinegar, or 2 to 1 vinegar to sugar. Do it for 6 hours, or you can do them in salt and chilies, but then a hefty sprinkle of that Szechuan cumin and salt. Because remember, you're not just seasoning the chicken, you're seasoning the whole sandwich, right? I'm going to take a taste of this baby and let you know how it is. Ooh. I mean, simple, beautiful. That is so crazy good. The pickle brine has kept the chicken itself super moist. The mixture of 3 different starches in here, recipe on the website, andrewzimmern.com, means that your chicken is going to be crunchy, crispy every single time. And the buttermilk and egg dredge, I mean, it works like a charm. I have to change flip sides here. Promote even cooking when we're doing shallow frying like this. Oh my gosh, this is really, really, really good. And the hoisin, the cucumber, and the herbs and spices, don't be afraid to really put that Szechuan peppercorn, cumin, and salt seasoning mix on there. It makes all the difference in the world.
How do you know when your chicken is done?
That is the most pertinent and best question ever. In the recipe on the website, I actually made a note to remind people that when you buy chicken thighs in the supermarket, sometimes what you get are 8 thighs to a pound, and they're all like really small and thin. And then sometimes you get like 4 to a pound where they're really big. So I try to make sure that if my chicken my chicken thighs, boneless, are relatively small, 3-4 ounces, they'll take about 7-8 minutes total cooking time. If they're larger, they'll take about 9-10 minutes cooking time. That is if they are room temperature. And I always let my chicken come to room temperature. Now you'll note that this chicken thigh, I've let go for about 2 or 3 minutes longer than the one that I just bunned up on that sandwich. And that's because A, it was bigger, and B, it's been double dredged. So it's going to take longer for the heat to permeate that double dredging, get beyond that gorgeous brown crust that we want, and actually cook the meat. With a chicken thigh that's been brined, it's more forgiving. So you'd rather cook it an extra minute than a minute too little. right? So 7, 8 minutes for small ones, 9, 10 minutes for bigger ones. But if you want to go 9 and 11 minutes, you're not going to have a problem. It's a boneless chicken thigh that's been brined, so you're not going to dry it out. Even if you overcook it a little bit, it's going to be more forgiving than chicken breast meat, which is something I very rarely cook with anyway, for that reason.
What kind of oil are you using?
This is peanut oil. But I will fry in soybean oil, canola oil, vegetable oil. I try to avoid corn oil, safflower oil, lard. And by the way, Edna Lewis trick, and it's in the recipe for you on andrewzimmern.com. When I'm frying chicken at home, I will stick a couple pieces of bacon into the fry oil. And the reason that I will do that, how was that sandwich? Perfect. That's pretty good. So 16-year-olds like the Nashville hot. This is the butter and hot sauce, that traditional buffalo style. Again, we just stick that on there. Take some of this wonderful blue cheese. Oh, look at that. Give that a nice smear on top.
Have you tried Popeye's fried chicken sandwich?
Crunchy celery. Popeye's fried chicken sandwich is good. I have. I had it in an airport, actually, on my last trip in an airplane that actually was to Nashville, Tennessee. We were talking about something important. I was answering someone's question. What was it, Madeline? It was something important. Oh, well. I'm sure if it's that important, I will remember it.
The last question was about oil.
Oh, yes. The Edna Lewis always put 3 or 4 pieces of smoky bacon into her fry oil. And I think it was as much for the cook's treat of eating the bacon when it was done, but it lends the oil a smoky, porcine quality that you really can tell the difference. I used to do that a lot. Edna wrote a couple of books when she was alive that were really important for cooks of my generation to read. And I was cooking about 3 years ago down in Kentucky with Michael Twitty. And he was using her technique. And it just makes such a difference. Such a difference. So throw a couple pieces of bacon into your lard or oil, no matter how you're frying. And you will find that your fried chicken takes on a quality of flavor and just a delicate smokiness that everyone is like, I can't put my finger on it, but that is really, really good.
What kind of bun are you using?
These are Martin's potato buns and traditional Hawaiian sweet hamburger buns from the good folks at King's Hawaiian. I happen to believe that with a spicy chicken, and all 3 of these are pickle brined spicy chicken preparations. So whether it's a traditional buffalo wing style, whether it's with Szechuan peppercorn seasoned salt, or whether it's Nashville hot style, we've done 3 different preparations. A bun and the ingredients that are on there need to complement something that's really spicy.
Why aren't you toasting your bun?
We usually toast our buns, and in the recipe, we call for it, but I ran in the door late coming back from the airport fetching my child. Hey, what can I say? Do as I say, not as I do.
Where will you be for the Super Bowl?
I will be in my seat at Raymond James Stadium. How about you? For Super Bowl 55, please tune in. We have a couple special announcements, so I'm glad you asked. The first one is that on Thursday, the 4th of February, which is our next AZ Cooks, it is a very special home gating version of AZ Cooks. We are doing it in partnership with our friends at Quaroy Salmon. We're going to be doing 4 different versions of hot dogs and hamburgers, really special ones, giveaways, prizes, You'll be seeing a lot of announcements in my social about that, but you're going to want to tell all your friends to tune in because there's some really cool stuff going on. That's number one. Number two, Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. I believe it's 10 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. But again, information in my social. I will be doing Taste of the NFL live from right outside of Raymond James Stadium. So if you go to tasteofthenfl.com, you can purchase your ticket. All the money goes to hunger relief. It goes to Gen Youth's emergency school lunch program. And I cannot think of a better cause than feeding hungry children. I've been involved with Taste of the NFL, I think, for 11 years now, something like that. And I've been very lucky to be at the Super Bowl, I think 11 of the last 12 years. So this year is no different. I will be down there live outside the stadium in the morning with a special tailgate. Carla Hall will be co-hosting. Tim Love will be co-hosting, along with a whole bunch of other chefs. Jim Brown, JB from the NFL Today on CBS, is doing special chalk talks. One is with Derek Jeter, for example. I'm blanking on some of the other amazing athletes we have, but they are all of that caliber. And his chalk talks, Peyton Manning is also going to be doing a chalk talk with JB, talking about things like the mental aspect of getting ready for the big game, right? Doesn't matter what your sport is, right? There's a lot of mental preparation that goes into this. So this is a huge 2-hour show. Tasteofthenfl.com. Buy your tickets. Next week, Quarry Salmon, the special home gating version of Instagram Live. So yeah, to answer your question, I will be standing. You know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be like one of those kids in the 1930s. I'm going to shimmy up a tree, and I'm going to look into Raymond James Stadium and see if I can't watch some of the game.
Who are you rooting for?
This is very difficult because Madeline is the biggest Kansas City Chiefs fan I've ever seen. It's absurd. She rivals Rob Riggle in her love of the Kansas City Chiefs, and miraculously, and I don't know how she pulls it off, in the last 3 years of our fantasy football league that we run in our office, she always winds up with all the Chiefs players, including Pat Mahomes, on her squad. I don't know how that happens, but it does. So I have to be rooting for the Chiefs, otherwise she'll throw something at me. What I'm mostly rooting for, because my teams are not in it, is a good game. And the last bunch of Super Bowls have been really, really great. So let's hope for another big game. I was kind of surprised that Tampa Bay beat Green Bay twice in a row, right? I mean, unbelievable, especially to do it in January at Lambeau. Unbelievable. So you can't count out TB12, right? But you've got the GOAT, and then you've got the baby goat going against each other. Should be a great game.
Shout out 5-year-old Piper, who watches you every week on IG Live.
Piper, what's up, kiddo?
What did you eat for breakfast?
What did I have for breakfast this morning? 2 cigarettes and an old cup of coffee from the night before. No, I'm kidding. I actually had one of those Chobani flip yogurts because I discovered it in the back of my refrigerator. Yeah, and a cup of coffee.
Can you reheat this chicken?
Yes, absolutely. But what I would suggest you do rather than reheat it is just let it come back to room temperature. There are 2 foods, really good steak and fried chicken, that I prefer to eat as a leftover at room temperature or cold than I do hot. I'm a cold fried chicken, picnic fried chicken person. That's how I grew up. Eating fried chicken it was cooked in the morning and then it went with you somewhere and you ate it for lunch. So it was never hot. And really, really, really good beef. I mean, really good prime beef, grilled black and blue or, cool rare center, then let it rest or refrigerated and then let it come back to room temperature and slice it thin. I think the flavor of beef when it's prepared like that, I think it actually tastes better.
Have you ever tried frying chicken with almond flour?
No.
What about an air fryer?
No. Look, I love air fryers. I love Instapots. I love all these. I mean, God bless. It's fantastic. And air fryers actually do really, really interesting things. I don't fry in an air fryer, but the one I have at home, I do high heat roasting in essence, because it does really well with things that have sugary glazes on them. So, for example, the Nobu Matsuhisa recipe, where you marinate your black sea bass in miso and rice wine and sake lees and sake, and let it sit for 2 days and then take it out, brush the marinade off, and broil it. Does really well in an air fryer because it sort of caramelizes it 360. I look at an air fryer more as a 360 degree broiler than anything else. So what I would broil, I put into the air fryer and let that centrifugal heat do its work.
Like pizza rolls?
Well, pizza rolls are ideal for an air fryer. Now, we have discussed this, I believe, before, and we do have a video coming out we are so backed up on our videos. So many people sent us their hot sauces and their cool new stoves and their new immersion circulators and their cool new pretzels and their air fryers and pizza rolls. Thank you, Totino's. And the recommendation for the Totino's pizza roll, I voiced my frustration on Twitter, and the people at Totino's sent me an air fryer, and one of the gentlemen who was on their lead research team, culinary team, said air fry at a certain temperature for 6-7 minutes, then at a different temperature for 6-7 minutes, and they will be crispy golden brown and they will not explode. And so we're going to give that a go.
Can you use the same batter and sauces with seafood, shrimp, fish?
Try it. I would encourage you to try it with everything. Here's the issue. If you're putting hoisin, cucumber, and spicy Szechuan peppercorn salt on fish, I think it may be too much. I have taken fried fish and put that seasoned salt on it, along with like a wedge of fresh yuzu and some greens, and call it a meal, and been very, very happy. If you do like a monkfish, a really sturdy white flesh fish, and do it buffalo style, even with the cheese, you're going to love it. Salmon is delicious with blue cheese. We have a great salmon blue cheese broiled recipe on our website. And certainly the Nashville hot, go for it. Pork, chicken, whatever, just not beef. And by the way, it's really good with duck as well. One more question. Make it a good one. We're scrolling through. While Madeline is looking, I will remind you, information in our social and on our website at andrewzimmern.com for next Thursday's special home gating version of Instagram Live, as well as information on the event that I'm doing for tasteofthenfl.com. Go to tasteofthenfl.com, buy your tickets, get your meal box, cook along with Tim Love, Carla Hall, and I, all for a great cause. First 5,000 people who buy a ticket get a special box, including a game day program and lots of goodies from our partners at PepsiCo.
How about, do you recycle your frying oil?
I do recycle my frying oil. As a matter of fact, I would lead you back into the kitchen and show you. But what we do right here is I turn this off, and I don't know if you could see that, but that light ring at the bottom is actually flour solids that have dropped to the bottom. So what we will do is we will pour this using a funnel and a filter, and pour it in, and then put it into a bottle, can, jar, and just put it in the fridge. And we label it. If you fry shrimp, let's say you love to fry shrimp, I'll do 4 or 5 batches of fried shrimp in the same oil, and then I have really shrimpy tasting oil, and then I'll take a couple tablespoons of that, and I'll use that to make a salad dressing for a fish or shellfish salad, and it actually tastes shrimpy. I know. I love you people. To my friends and fans that have sent me notes today on Instagram, Twitter, slid into my DMs, whatever, and shared their best wishes, congratulating me on my sobriety anniversary. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have read them all. It's just too many to get to. I promise to read the rest of them. They're really, really important to me. It's an incredible blessing, and I'm really humbled and grateful that I'm sober for just another day today. AndrewZimmern.com and our social media, at Andrew Zimmern on Twitter, Andrew Zimmern on Facebook, at Chef AZ on Instagram. More information about next week's home gating and next Sunday's big Super Bowl event at tasteofthenfl.com. We will see you next week.